Carlos Santana has spent decades as one of music's biggest stars, but behind the fame and success lay years of hidden pain and struggle. The legendary guitarist, now 77 years old, has finally opened up about the darkest chapters of his life, including 7 suicide attempts that nearly ended everything. His story is one of incredible highs and devastating lows, showing how music became both his salvation and his burden. Born in Mexico in 1947, Carlos grew up in a musical family. His father played violin in mariachi bands and taught young Carlos the basics of music from an early age. When Carlos turned 8, his family made a life-changing move to Tijuana. This border city exposed him to new sounds and experiences that would shape his future, but it also brought trauma that would haunt him for decades. In Tijuana, Carlos discovered rock and blues music when he saw a band called the TJs playing in a local park. The sound captivated him and planted the seeds for his musical journey. However, his childhood took a dark turn when an American man began abusing him. For 2 years, this predator would take Carlos across the border, buying him toys and clothes to keep him quiet about the abuse. The nightmare only ended when the man struck Carlos for looking at a woman through a window. This terrible experience left Carlos carrying guilt and shame that would follow him throughout his life. By age 15, Carlos was playing guitar in strip clubs in Tijuana. It was a rough environment for a teenager, where he witnessed violence and adult situations no child should see. Despite the harsh surroundings, these experiences helped him develop his unique style, blending Latin rhythms with blues and rock in ways no one had done before. In the early 1960s, Carlos moved to San Francisco with big dreams but little money. He worked as a dishwasher at the TikTok drive-in, earning barely enough to survive. Every penny he saved went toward his goals of buying immigration papers and a new guitar. His world came crashing down when he discovered his mother had taken his entire savings of $300 to pay for his sister's dental work. She gave him back only $20, leaving him heartbroken and broke. With just that $20 in his pocket, Carlos left home and returned to Tijuana, where he played music in strip clubs to survive. Life in San Francisco was incredibly tough for the young musician. He lived in a cramped apartment in the Mission District with other struggling musicians, sleeping on the floor because there were no beds. He worked long hours washing dishes and lived mostly on rice and beans because he couldn't afford proper meals. Even his guitar strings were broken or makeshift because he couldn't buy new ones. Despite these hardships, Carlos never gave up on his music. To make extra money, Carlos played on the streets of San Francisco. He spent hours performing at popular spots like Fisherman's Wharf and Union Square, sometimes making less than $5 a day. These street performances exposed him to different types of music, including jazz and folk, which he began incorporating into his own unique sound. The mix of styles helped him stand out and catch the attention of passers-by. The turning point came in 1966 when Carlos formed his first official band, the Santana Blues Band. The group came together almost by accident when Carlos met Tom Fraser at the drive-in where he worked. Fraser introduced him to keyboard player Greg Rowley, and they brought in other talented musicians, including David Brown on bass and Marcus Malone on percussion. The band's name came from Michael Carabello's suggestion that Santana was memorable and would stick in people's minds. Santana's rise to fame happened in the most unexpected way. The band got their big break at Woodstock, one of the most famous music festivals in history, thanks to promoter Bill Graham, who believed in their potential. Graham was helping organize the festival and insisted that Santana be included if the organizers wanted his continued support. At the time, Santana wasn't famous at all. They hadn't even released their first album yet, and most of the 400,000 people at Woodstock had never heard of them. The band was given a 45-minute slot on August 16, 1969, in the afternoon, sandwiched between major acts like the Grateful Dead and Creedence Clearwater Revival. What made their performance even more remarkable was Carlos's state of mind during the show. At just 22 years old, he had an unexpected encounter with Jerry Garcia from the Grateful Dead after arriving by helicopter. While waiting to perform, Garcia offered Carlos something to try, likely a powerful hallucinogen like peyote or mescaline. The effects hit Carlos hard, just as it was time to take the stage earlier than expected. During the performance, he was deep into a vivid trip, seeing his guitar neck moving like a snake. To keep himself grounded, he played with his eyes closed, trusting his muscle memory to find the right notes. At one point, he even prayed, asking God to help him not embarrass himself in front of the massive crowd. Despite being under the influence, or perhaps because of it, Santana delivered a performance that would change their lives forever. Woodstock transformed Santana from unknown musicians into overnight sensations. Bill Graham had warned Carlos that fame would hit hard after the festival, and he was absolutely right. Just 2 weeks after Woodstock, Santana's debut album was released on August 30th, 1969. The timing couldn't have been more perfect. Suddenly, they went from being a local San Francisco band to a sensation known across the entire country. Graham helped the band make the most of their newfound success, booking them for major events and even getting them on The Ed Sullivan Show in October 1996. 9. Their first album was a massive success, staying on the Billboard 200 chart for an incredible 108 weeks and reaching number 4. While their first single, Jingo, only made it to number 56, it was Evil Ways that became their breakthrough hit, climbing to number 9 and spending 13 weeks in the top rankings. With his first royalty check, Carlos kept a promise he had made to his mother years earlier. He bought her a house and made sure it had everything she needed, including a brand new refrigerator. This gesture showed that despite the hurt from his childhood, Carlos still loved his family and wanted to take care of them. In 1973, Carlos married Deborah King, daughter of blues musician Saunders King. They met at a concert and built both a personal and professional partnership that would last for decades. Deborah played a crucial role in managing Carlos's career and finances, especially during the 1990s when Carlos admitted he might have lost everything without her help. Together, they had 3 children: Salvador, who became a songwriter and band leader, Stella, a singer and songwriter, and Angelica, a writer and film producer. Their marriage lasted 34 years and included successful business collaborations. In 1994, they took full control of the Santana Band, with Deborah serving as vice president and COO of Santana Management until 2007. They also founded the Milagro Foundation in 1998, which helped underprivileged children around the world. Deborah was instrumental in Carlos's massive success with the 1999 album Supernatural, which went platinum 15 times and earned 9 Grammy Awards. However, their marriage wasn't as perfect as it appeared to the public. In her 2005 memoir, Space Between the Stars, Deborah revealed that Carlos had been unfaithful throughout their marriage. This revelation, along with other issues, led to their divorce in 2007. After the memoir was published, Carlos publicly admitted to his infidelity, expressing deep regret and apologizing to Deborah and their children for the pain he had caused. The divorce brought Carlos to the darkest period of his life. The pain and guilt became so overwhelming that he attempted suicide 7 times, believing that death might be preferable to the suffering he was experiencing. Each time he tried to end his life, something stopped him. He described hearing a soft but powerful voice that said, "I'm sitting next to you. Isn't that enough?" These moments, combined with looking at a picture of Jesus and lighting candles, helped pull him back from the brink. The emotional turmoil of the divorce also brought back suppressed memories of his childhood sexual abuse. Through his faith and spiritual journey, Carlos eventually found the strength to forgive his abuser, describing forgiveness as a way to free himself from the burden of hatred and anger. Carlos's spiritual journey has been complex and evolving. In 1973, his guru gave him the spiritual name Devadeep, meaning the lamp, light, and eye of God. After leaving his guru's guidance in 1982, due to disagreements about personal choices, Carlos later embraced Christianity, which brought him peace and stability. By 2015, he was so committed to his faith that he spoke about potentially becoming a church minister after retiring from music. In 1999, at age 52, Carlos made one of the most incredible comebacks in music history with the album Supernatural. The project came about when Clive Davis, who had originally signed Santana to Columbia Records in 1969, approached him with the idea of working together again. It was a risky move since Santana hadn't had a top 10 hit since 1971, but the gamble paid off beyond anyone's expectations. Supernatural sold 30 million copies worldwide and earned Carlos 9 Grammy Awards in one night, tying Michael Jackson's record for most Grammys won at once. The album hit #1 in 11 countries and stayed at the top of the U.S. charts for 12 weeks. Santia's Ana also made history as the first Hispanic artist to win the Grammy for Album of the Year. The album's biggest hit, Smooth, almost didn't happen. The song started as a rough idea called Room 17, about a groupie meeting Santana in a hotel. Pete Ganbarg, an AR executive, pushed for the song while Santana was initially uninterested. It took personal persuasion from Clive Davis to convince him. Rob Thomas, who wrote and sang the vocals, was living a relaxed life in Manhattan when he got involved. The collaboration resulted in a massive hit that became the last #1 song of the 1990s and the first of the 2000s. Today, Carlos Santana's net worth is estimated at $120 million, a far cry from his days as a dishwasher in San Francisco. His success skyrocketed after Supernatural, which generated over $375 million in sales. He has invested wisely in real estate, including a $6 million home in Las Vegas and a $20.5 million property in Hawaii. He also started a successful chain of Mexican restaurants called Maria Maria. Even at 77, Santana continues performing regularly. His Las Vegas residency at the House of Blues has been running for 13 years and is extended through 2025. He performs several nights a week, playing high-energy shows that demonstrate his enduring passion for music. Part of the proceeds from his performances goes to charities, including the Milagro Foundation, showing his continued commitment to giving back. In recent years, Santana has faced some health challenges. In September 2024, he had to cancel several shows due to urgent back surgery. Despite these setbacks, he managed to perform special anniversary shows celebrating 25 years of Supernatural, proving that his dedication to music remains strong. Santana has also faced controversy in recent years. In 2023, during a concert in Atlantic City, he made comments about gender identity that upset many people. His unscripted 15-minute speech about gender being decided before birth went viral and sparked significant backlash. Although he initially apologized, he later deleted the apology and posted a cryptic poem instead, which added to the controversy. Today, Santana's band has become a true family affair. His wife, Cindy Blackman Santana, has been the band's drummer since 2015. At 64, she is an accomplished musician who often steals the spotlight with her incredible talent. Carlos's son Salvador, from his first marriage, is also part of the band, playing keyboards, percussion, and providing vocals. Carlos Santana's philosophy on life has been shaped by his spiritual journey and his experiences with both triumph and tragedy. He believes that strength comes not just from eating healthy food, but from feeding the mind and spirit properly. His spiritual life remains central to who he is, and he often asks others, "What is God saying to you right now?" His message to fans goes beyond entertainment. He wants people to experience spiritual awakening and feel empowered in their own lives. He frequently tells audiences to celebrate your own light and your divinity. Through his music and his foundation work, he continues trying to bring hope, peace, and unity to the world. The story of Carlos Santana is ultimately one of resilience and redemption. From a traumatized child in Tijuana, to a struggling street musician in San Francisco, to a global superstar who nearly lost everything to personal demons, his journey shows the power of music to heal and transform. His willingness to share his darkest moments, including his suicide attempts and childhood abuse, demonstrates courage and a desire to help others who might be facing similar struggles. At 77, Santana continues to create music that moves people around the world. His blend of Latin rhythms, blues, and rock remains as powerful as ever, and his spiritual message of love and unity resonates with new generations of fans. Despite the pain and controversy he has experienced, Carlos Santana's legacy as both a musical innovator and a survivor of life's deepest challenges remains secure.